Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for More Easily Control Your Distribution Orders. I'm Denise, and with me today is 32Soft's sensational solutions architect, Olena Stepovyk.
Hello, thank you everyone for attending this 32Soft webinar. Today I would like to show you our solution for distribution orders in QED. First, a couple of words about when and why you may need to use this type of orders. Distribution orders in QED are the product of Distribution Requirements Planning, or DRP. DRP is an extension of Materials Requirements Planning that covers multiple sites and allows the requesting site to tell the supplying site quantities and needed dates of the materials. If your business operates at multiple sites, using distribution orders can help you balance supply and demand and facilitate timely transfer of the items between the sites. So basically, MRP balances supply and demand within a site, while DRP balances supply and demand between sites. Distribution planning itself can be a challenging task. We have created a tool that allows you to tackle this task and efficiently manage distribution orders in QED. With 32Soft DO Workbench, you can identify inter-site demands and turn them into the distribution orders, modify and monitor status of open orders, allocate and perform shipments or distribution orders at the supplying site, and receive materials for shipped distribution orders at the receiving site. Let me show you how 32Soft DO Workbench works. I think most of QED users utilize capabilities of Materials Requirements Planning functionality in QED. You may also have your distributed item supplies planned outside of QED, and I will show how we addressed it in the DO Workbench. But first, let's look at what QED and MRP allows you to accomplish. MRP calculates the initial demand for an item at the planning site. It generates planned orders and action messages. DRP identifies distributed items among these initial demands. These are the items manufactured or stored at other sites. And like MRP, DRP generates planned orders and action messages. The difference is planned orders generated by DRP are called inter-site requests, since they represent demands to or from other sites. Inter-site requests exist as planned supply on the receiving site and planned demand on the shipping site. In 32Soft DO Workbench, you can access, review, and act on the action messages for distributed items. Let me download some of the sample action messages we have. I logged in early, so you won't see our standard user ID prompt for the data loaders. Type of the downloaded action message will give you details about action required. And for each message, you will have item details, quantity, required date, site that requested it, site that will supply it. At the supplying site, the response to the planned demand or inter-site request will be the distribution order. Distribution orders firm the demand on the supplying side, confirming the request for supply. And action message details allow you to see whether inter-site request has been firmed or not. You will have or not have distribution orders associated with the inter-site request. You can use DRP action messages just as another source of information on distributed item supply and demand, or act upon them. In my example, I have only two types of messages: cancel inter-site order and shipment past due. DO Workbench currently allows you to work also with create planned inter-site request and no source of supply messages. Acting upon action message or approving them in DO Workbench prepares the data you need for the next step. Next step in the majority of the action messages will be either creating new distribution order or modifying or canceling existing one. I will pick two action messages and approve them. One of the action messages I approve requires creation of the distribution order, and another one canceling intersite requests and correspondingly distribution order. DO Workbench will identify the actions required and pre-populate DO Create and DO Update tabs with the data from action messages. I can now process data on each tab, create and modify DOs, and complete the approval. First, I'll do the update. So in this case, I need to cancel my intersite request and distribution order. I will update. And create DO. We'll enter required ship and due dates. And click on create DO. All approved action messages are automatically deleted. I can skip the DO update and create step if I only need to delete action messages as an indication that I reviewed it. DRP will recheck the conditions that triggered action messages during its next run. It is possible that you may not want to rely on QED action messages. You may need to create or modify DOs based on the planning data you maintain outside of QED. In DO Workbench, you have a number of options when it comes to creating new distribution orders for the shipping side. One of them is you can download planned intersite requests that do not have distribution orders associated with them yet. Just enter requesting site, supply site, and click on download intersite requests. Then you can leave intersite requests that need to be turned into distribution orders, make any required changes. For example, I need to change the ship date, due date, and click on create distribution orders. Distribution orders can be compared to purchase orders. The process of creating DO is similar to the process of turning purchase requisitions into purchase orders. You can have a single requisition per order or can combine multiple requisitions into the same order. Since I had the same ship to site, the same ship date, the DO Workbench let me combine all multiple intersite requests into single DO. If you run distributed supplies planning outside of QED and have, for example, list of items with quantities and due dates that need to be ordered and shipped, you can copy-paste information into the DO Create tab. Let me copy-paste it. And I click on Create DO. The Workbench created 3 separate distribution orders based on the supply request I need because of the different ship dates. While intersite requests are typically created at the receiving site first, they are also automatically created when creating a distribution order for the shipping site. You can also create distribution orders based on the available inventory. Optionally enter selection criteria and click on Download Inventory. Pick the items to be included into the orders, enter quantity to ship, and click on Create Distribution Orders. Once DO is created, it's ready to be allocated and shipped. If you need to make changes to unshipped distribution orders, It can be done in the DO Workbench from the DO Update and Ship tab. Download the orders to be modified, then make the changes required and click on Update to DO. I want to make the ship date October 15 for all the lines. Click on Update Distribution Orders, and if no errors found, the order will be updated in QED. You can use general or detailed allocation for distribution orders. You can specify quantity picked and detailed quantity allocated. If no changes to the DO are required and orders are ready to be shipped, you can proceed with the shipment by clicking on Ship DO. We can check the results and see that quantities that we shipped are no longer shown as open quantities for the distribution orders. DO shipment through the DO Workbench will trigger the corresponding function in QED, and shipped items will be taken out of the supply site inventory and moved to an in-transit site and location. QED allows to ship distribution orders partially, multiple times. Also, it allows to ship more than the quantity ordered or confirmed. If you need to limit quantity that can be shipped by the quantity ordered, you can add this restriction at the DO Workbench level. When shipped items reach the requesting site, DO receipt allows to change in-transit status of the item into the true inventory status. You can check the in-transit inventory from the DO receipt tab by clicking on Download DO button. Here you can select items you want to receive. Enter the receive date. Receive action will execute distribution orders received function in QED, record the receipt of orders, and transfer received items from in-transit location and site into the regular location at the receiving site. DO Workbench makes DO maintenance functionality accessible to the user who has access to the corresponding functions in QED. Usually, users who can review action messages and create or modify distribution orders and inter-site requests are different from the users who record shipment or receipts. DO Workbench allows access to its functionality based on the user access in QED. However, you may have people in your organization responsible for transportation and logistics that do not need and do not have access to DRP or DO functionality in QED. This group of users can obtain detailed information on distribution orders in the view-only mode from the Dashboard tab and still be able to update transportation details such as transport ID and comments. That was a brief overview of the functionality we have in our DO Workbench. I believe this tool allows to simplify the challenging task of DRP planning and efficiently manage distribution orders in QED. Setting up DRP planning in QED will require some initial setup that sets a baseline for DO Workbench and DO in general, and I believe this setup portion has been covered in one of our earlier webinars by our amazing Don Lindsay. As usual, for Don, it's very thorough, but if you will have any questions or need additional information on distribution orders functionality in QED and tools we have for them, please do not hesitate to contact us.
Thank you, Olena. Fantastic, as always. And yes, Olena referenced the DRP webinar with our very own guru, Don Lindsay. I'll include the link to Don's session as well, so you will have both. What we have coming up, the West Coast User Group Conference is about a week and a half away. Alex and Don are both attending and will be joined by Cindy Kong from CoorsTech. If you are attending the conference, we do hope you can catch both Don's presentation about supply chain as well as Alex and Cindy's sales order data management presentation. As far as webinars, we are excited to welcome Cindy along with Bob Sendek as first-time panelists next month. Cindy and Bob will share how CoorsTech managed to standardize processes across the globe and decrease some of their processing times by as much as 60 to 80%. It's a very cool little story, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for it. Also in September, we will share what we have in store for you in 2023. Okay, as we move to close today's session, let's consider for a second the critical nature of communication. We all know the negative implications of miscommunication and lack of communication. According to George Bernard Shaw, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So whatever your technologies or processes, be sure to eliminate any guesswork surrounding communication and make sure they are optimized. Thank you, Olena, very much for your time today. It was great to have you back. And as always, thanks to everyone who took the time out to join us today. We certainly hope to see you again next month. Have a great day, everybody.